Varia actually includes a really nice RDT bottle. So that's kind of like, you just spritz your coffee beans before you grind them, and it helps to prevent any like static or retention and like, mess caused by that. Even without the RDT, there's still very minimal retention, thankfully. But happy to report that with the RDT, retention is really, really quite minimal. Talking like 0.1 to 0.2 grams, which is cool already. Yeah, so I've got everything like, ready to go. Let's do some coffee, I guess.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
Take you through it, yeah?
Yes.
So I'll just prep my scale, give this like spritz, shake it out a bit. The Varia.
The bellows.
Yeah, man.
The bellows are always cute.
The bellows help as well. So we're just gonna give it a quick pump. So again, it's 14 grams. Yeah, man. It's coming out just nice, bro. Yeah. So now we're just gonna wait till like 45 seconds. I mean, again, really happy that I'm able to grind nice coarse sizes with the Varia because.
And would you say you're using the AeroPress from a perspective of percolation with a little bit of time, advantage of taking, you get to use time?
Yeah, I'll say like the extra amount of time as well because, it's true that I'm grinding just be coarser, but because like you kind of have to end your AeroPress brew with like hand pressure, so like you can't be grinding too coarse that it's just dripping through all the way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean even if it drips through like 80% of the way, and you finish it with hand pressure, it's just going to be like pressing through like nothing.
Right.
So you want a bit of like resistance, which is what this grind size setting is giving me right now. But you're right, this amount of time where it's like basically suspended in the hot water for like a minute and percolating as well, very gently. It's sort of like a very gentle immersion as well, I would say. Kind of like, right, essentially.
What is it? Percolation.
Percolation, yeah, man. Yeah, somewhere in between. So, yeah.
Immersolate lah.
Immersolate lah, bro. Immersolate lah, bro. Yeah.
Both percolation and a little bit of what you call it? Immersion.
Yeah. So I will argue that your theory is spot on, that amount of time is sort of helping to increase like the tactility of the coffee. I mean also definitely making sure that all the good like sweetness and acidity is like fully and evenly extracted.
Indeed.
Yeah, and now it's just like letting some using like just body mass to press down. Yeah, just keep it super gentle.
If you guys want to see like the list of like crazy ways to press your AeroPress, there are 10,000 different ways to press your AeroPress.
Remember when James opened that video, like how hard I can press?
Yeah, dude.
And like he just climbed on the table and like he just like started like jumping on it. Not like jumping on it, but like
Yeah. But be careful. Be careful.
Be careful. Exactly.
Always, your server is your MVP.
Yeah. For
Do
real.
not press too hard if it's in class. But
yeah, just a 3-minute brew. We're done.
nice.
It's like nice
Oh,
Ethiopian coffee.
it's a
For
nice
both of us to
color.
enjoy. Maybe a bit more for you as well.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Big noise. Oh. Ooh.
Cheers, man.
Thanks.
I mean, clean.
Wow.
It's like how they say like conicals like have a lot of fines. I would disagree. Yeah. I don't get a lot of like grittiness.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. No, it's really nice. It's like very, very pronounced, I would say.
Yeah.
Which goes into our topic about the whole idea of taking two sides, with the ability to use the AeroPress.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just speaking from your recipe lah. We never know. I'm pretty sure it's better with this grinder. I'm pretty sure like in terms of like the profile of like the speed, how your final product does come out, from a coffee grind perspective.
Yeah.
It's all about extraction, right?
Yep.
But you clearly are in between both ways of extraction,
Yeah.
both immersion and drip, and I can really taste it in the coffees.
Yeah.
You do get really nice, straightforward acidity.
Yep.
You do get very strong aromas as well. And then the body is not compromised, bro.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. Yeah.
I think it's light, but there's like notes to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's light, but it's different from the flavors, and the tactile is separated. It's like different, and it's good. Yeah. Nice.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. You got something to share with, like what made you choose this coffee? Was it like, or choose this certain recipe to, did it change like based on different recipes that you tried on the AeroPress? Did some give you favorable results, or like when you were leaning on to a specific brew style? Yeah. Did you, what come across to you, and how did this become the middle ground
Right.
for most of your recipes?
Yeah, so I would say that it's actually two-pronged. So like the first one would be like, again, going back to what I learned, in terms of like learning, like managing operations, making sure everything is consistent, repeatable, yeah. I mean, that time at Kurasu really like sort of like solidified that mindset for me. So there's a consistency and workflow kind of thing. The second thing is also like, the recipe is sort of anchored on the end result of the cup, being having like expressive like flavor intensity, whilst not being like too cloying on the palate lah. So I don't want something too heavy,
Yeah.
I would say this is like when it comes out hot, it's like a nice medium body. But when it cools down, it's like a medium plus. So it's not like gonna like just be like so dense, It's just like a nice syrup coating, the palate. Instead of like doing like a full-on immersion where, you can do it fast, but it would entail having to grind much finer. I know some people, would like triple up their filters, and that's fine. But I would prefer to just keep the waste a bit more minimal. One piece of paper filter will do. You could technically grind coarse,
Yeah.
but that would entail waiting, for like a longer time, because it's literally, hot water and coffee suspended together.
Yeah.
There's not much going on. So I was like, okay, let's factor in that percolation, man. Just a bit of that gravity acting on water to push, that water through the coffee bed would really help to speed up the extraction a bit. That's why I'm able to like, just go for like a shorter brew time, 3 minutes, it's pretty decent, I would say, to achieve a result like this. Yeah, so it's like those two approaches that sort of form the foundation of this approach. And with regards to different coffees, I do my best, to keep the method the same. Dosage I will keep the same most of the time. It's really just like sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
You don't want to be extracting too much coffee. Using a bit lesser coffee kind of makes your life easier as well. It makes the flavors more expressive, easier to be expressed as well. But it all goes back to some coffees. You can't really push it too far.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest changes are, mostly in the way of grind size and total brew water. But even then, we do like 5 gram increments or 5 gram decrements, that kind of thing. Grind sizes are also, something that we mess around with. Just micro changes, essentially.
So how do you feel about like the Varia, the VS3 itself, just sort of being part of your workspace? Were there certain things that like it could help you with your recipe? For example, you were talking about grind size. The fact that it's a stepless grinder. You're not being forced, to choose a certain grind size. Just because the click says so. Now we're talking about a stepless grinder. How is that going out for you? Do you find yourself relying? Like sometimes would you still wish you had a click, or did you wish you did not have a click?
I would say I've grown quite accustomed, you know, to working with stepless grinders. So like, not having a click is quite liberating as well. Uh, I would say that it's fun because like you know, it frees up a lot of room for me to, you know, work between the lines, like, you know, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may seem, you know, it may seem like insignificant, but like sometimes those little like twists kind of like, you know, open up new flavor possibilities that you never knew. But you just have to be willing to try. And I mean, at a coffee bar, you know, we are lucky.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of coffee in stock. You know, so we get the time to fine tune, you know, the recipe alongside the equipment. Yeah.
For sure.
So that's been happening. You know, honestly, like not having, you know, any clicks, any steps has been liberating for me. It's been letting me pinpoint like a good sort of grind size. It's like, yeah, I'll mark it down on my phone, you know, so I know like how much to turn. But yeah, essentially, yeah, I would say it's liberating. It helps me to be a bit more. It helps the coffee experience feel a bit more creative for me. Yeah.
See,
Mm.
thanks for sharing, bro.
All good, all good. Yeah.
Man appreciates the coffee was delicious.
Thank you.
As usual. Yeah, no, I just want to thank you for spending some time with us.
Yeah.
You know, just talking about where you are, you know, as a coffee as a coffee professional, you know, like what are we really chasing after? You know, sometimes we don't really get to talk about it that much.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't really put the spotlight on that, lah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes, it's important to look at those things because those are the things that you know, make us do what we want to do. You know.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we get to geek out on coffees, we get to talk about coffees in a certain way that people usually don't care.
Yeah.
But some people do.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we still do it, lah. So yeah, bro. Thanks for spending some time.
Thank you.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned, guys.
Right. More for you.
Yes, please.
Right.
So, as a creator yourself,
Yeah.
like, what are some things that you look for in the tools that you use?
Right.
Yeah.
So it sort of like takes me back to, you know, when I was like reading out a bit of like, you know, on a bit of like industrial design, and I chanced upon like Dieter Rams, and it's not like, you know, word for word, but he was always, you know, an advocate for designing less, but making the design of the product do more, you know. So this is you know, like for tools wise, you know, you want things, for me at least, you know, I want things that are like, they look nice, but that's not all there is to them, you know.
Yeah.
They shouldn't like snatch attention, they should do their job first, you know. So I would say that the Varia right now for me is sort of like a very nice representation, an example of that. Yeah, it's sleek, you know. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it looks super duper sleek. It's very pretty, but you know, you just see it on my coffee bar right now, and it just blends in with like, you know, my EK,
Yeah.
my Mythos one. It doesn't like grab all the attention. I mean, people will ask about it, but
Yeah.
it's not like so jarring in your face.
Yeah.
But like what makes it so special to me, you know, so enjoyable to use is like, you know, you really don't see the good stuff. Like it's all in there, you know. Like I was talking about, you know, those like the 6-core controllable, 6 edges cuts, that low RPM for consistent grind size, and that close to zero retention sort of you know, output.
Yeah.
Those are things that, you know, we don't really like overlook. Like
Yeah.
we overlook essentially, you know.
Yeah.
We don't really see it. Like, you know, all we see is like a sleek grinder. So it's like unassuming in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, you know, as for me and for you as well, I'm sure like, you know, brewing coffee is like a way of like creative self-expression. You know.
Yeah.
There's a visual element to it, you know. So again, you know, we choose tools that, you know, kind of look nice on our coffee bar. But they also have to work well, which is, you know, very, very happy to say that It's
Correct.
the Varia VS3 is doing that. Then it comes, it comes to the conversation of like, the coffee we brew and why we brew it a certain way. I think for me, I want to recreate those like sensory experiences and memories that I value, growing up, enjoying like food and drinks. For coffee, we are able to draw out like nice acidity, complex bitterness, pleasant sweetness, and with the Varia VS3, I'm able to grind in a way where like my AeroPress coffees come out, with like really elegant sort of like vibrancy, nice sweetness, round ductility. I've even tried for espresso as well. It's different for sure from my flat burr, espresso grinder. But
How was the time?
so like
It's pro.
for the mid-first one, I'm grinding at a relatively coarse grind size, so I match it with the Varia as well. This one over here, like it needs to grind in a way where the coffee is extracted at like 25 seconds. Mid-first one, 15 seconds. But that's fine. Like the taste is basically like everything. And I've tasted it. Proof is in the butter. It tastes great. I like my espressos vibrant. I like my espressos sweet. Usually with the first one, it's a bit lighter for me, which is nice as well. But this, I get a bit more sort of viscosity. It's like comforting kind of thing.
Okay.
But yes, delicious, bright and sweet coffees as well.
Nice.
So as a creator, I want to recreate refreshing experiences. And this has done that for me.
Agreed. I was just I feel it to be very true because like whatever this grinder is offering right now, it certainly was not available back then, I guess. The first variable RPM grinder might be the Weber at some point, right? And that was like way out of our league, bro. That was like, like $500 more than this. Just made it like maybe $5,000. 5,000, which is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
But, not many of us had the opportunity to experience what a lower RPM would do to our coffees. I think for a very long period of time. I think those grinders probably came out like maybe 5-6 years ago. But I'm starting to see how there is a sort of a correlation. I think with the fact that we are making coffees with our own hands. And even when we are grinding our own coffees with our own hands, things always tend to taste better. I don't know, for some reason. Like maybe just the sheer fact that your hands touched it and you do recognize a certain connection with the product that you're about to create. Like you don't really ask a painter if he pays attention to how he brushes the stroke across his canvas, right? Because that's just what he's doing, right? But it's the same way for us, right? Like it's the look and the feel and how we connect to the product itself. And I think for this grinder, it's the 6-core. It's actually really, really close to the hand grinders that they have as well. I think it's almost a similar per set. Slightly different still, just with the 6-core. So it just helps with the speed a little bit. But the whole purpose of this whole RPM is just to make it a lot sweeter. And cheers, bro. I believe that. I can taste it. But you can taste it to believe it.
Thank you.
Bro.